And welcome everybody to Sports on Tap. I think we are. This is our summer spotlight as we are getting prepared for the high school football season, which starts in just 10 or 11 days, depending on what school you are. And I can't believe that the summer is already come and gone. I'm sure all the parents on the show that have kids that are school age are feeling that way. I'm sure the coaches are feeling the same way. My name is Ed Dick. Alongside our co-host, our technical director is Rob Troutman. Our EVP of social media content and graphic design specialist is Josh Jeffy. Dr. Hoops himself, Noah Jacobson, and then my cohort, my colleague, my compadre, Professor Hype, Sean Duffy, also joining us on here. He will be sure to get his segment in here soon to really hype up about what we have going on. Right now, you're watching us live on the YouTube channel, Sports on Tap at SOT Podcast. You can watch this broadcast and all of our future and past broadcasts on our YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button to get notifications of all future broadcasts. Follow us on X, Twitter, at SOT Podcast. Also on Facebook at Sports on Tap and on Threads at SOT_podcast. And of course, check out our website, sportsontappodcast.com for information about the show. And reach out directly to us at sportsontappodcast@gmail.com for questions, comments, feedback, and anything else you want to talk to us about. Real quick run through our sponsors. Ray Felton State Farm Insurance, located in beautiful Hudson, Ohio. That is going to play a big part of what we're about to talk about here shortly. Make sure you call Ray at 234-284-5996 for more information. RRT Productions, check them out at rrt-productions.com for more information about their freelance services for large and small scale events. GVR and Design, check out gvartwork.com to find your favorite professional and college team and player-themed shirts and apparel. Specifically, the Down Goes Armstrong shirt, or Anderson shirt, that has now been made famous. That took all of 24 hours to make, and I'm sure is sold out. But use the promo code ONTAP10 at checkout to get 10% off your order. Last and certainly not least, we are proud to talk about Hand Plus Built Leather. Check them out for more information at handbuiltleather.com. And we'll be looking forward to getting more information about them over the course of the season. Now, I did a lot of talking there. I apologize for that. But let's get
bill paying.
I didn't hear what you said there, Sean. I'm just going to power through. But we're joined. We have two more great head coaches that are joining us. A little bit later, we're going to be joined by Rocky River head coach Josh Wells, another Mountain Union guy who I was lucky enough to play football with. Seems to be a lot of Mountain Union folks around here. Not that I'm partial to them at all. But coming up right now, we just mentioned Ray Felton State Farm Insurance in Hudson, Ohio. We are joined by the head coach of the Hudson Explorers. This will be his 8th season as the Hudson head coach after being previously the defensive coordinator. A 59-23 record overall, and defending South Suburban League National Division champions. We are joined by Jeff Gough of the Hudson Explorers. Coach Gough, thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Coach, you just got off the practice field, getting ready for the upcoming season. As we've done for our past interviews, we'll take a very quick step back to what we did in 2022. That really sets you up for what we're talking about here in 2023. Again, very successful, undefeated regular season, a good run through the region. So briefly talk about the success of last year, or what you perceived of last year to be, and how that kind of springboarded you for this coming season.
Yeah, last year was it was a lot of fun when I look back on it. It felt like a pretty long time, but just because we were playing all the way almost to Thanksgiving, but we look at the kids and just to start out day one and not really know what you have. And the scrimmage we had with Chardon, they took it to us last year. And we were really unsure of what was going to go on like throughout the season. We thought we had a chance to be pretty good. And then, the guys bought in. They bought into each other. They bought into, let's take it that one play at a time. Let's try to get 1% better every day. Let's be critical. Let's compete. Let's be physical. Let's sacrifice. And then one win became 2, became 5. Next thing you know, you're knocking on the door of 10-0. Our main goal and our favorite thing about that season is always winning the Suburban League. We think we have a really, really tough conference with some outstanding coaches, outstanding players every year. And so again, when I look back on last year, 2022, I say we're the Suburban League champions. Very proud of that. Then once we hit playoffs and we started to go on that run, because we got to play we had a crazy draw. We had Solon to start, who we had played week 1 actually, and we won that game. They scored in the last minute, tried to go for 2, and we stopped them, and we ended up winning 14-13. So really tough, well-coached team, and there we are. We got them week 11. And so we knew we had a tough game there. And then we had Walsh, who Coach Alexander's done a great job with them, and they had an awesome team last year. And then rolled into Riverside, who had probably one of their best teams. Coach Boers over there had one of their best teams in decades, probably, if not ever in school history. I know it was their first one of their first playoff wins last season. And it's huge to beat a team like that. And then anytime you're finishing the season or get the chance to play a program like Hoban, we tell our kids that's just an amazing season. We couldn't pull it out. They had a pretty good running back and offensive line, and their defense was just tremendous, like they are every year. So a lot of really, really fond memories. We're excited about all the kids that are coming back. But we told the kids from day 1 of summer, guys, this is a brand new season. It always is. We got to start from ground zero. And we know what we're chasing. It's that league championship.
So,
Coach, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Sean. Your conference, buddy.
I was just going to say, Coach, followed you guys pretty heavily last year. Very, very impressive stats week in, week out for you offensively. Talk a little bit about who you're going to be relying on the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball coming into this campaign.
We have a quarterback coming in. He was the backup last year as a junior, in Peyton Neer. He's looking to be the guy, and he's had a great summer. He's looking to be the guy at quarterback. We have Ian Ludwig back, who is our tailback, rushed for 2,000 yards last year. And then on the offensive line, Tommy Ricard is back. He's really kind of our anchor. This will be his 3rd year starting. He's committed to go to Virginia Tech next season for college ball. Jake Clapper started on the offensive line at right guard, so he'll be back playing offensive line for us. And then we got a couple young ones coming up that we're excited to see them really kind of compete and to kind of grow. I guarantee our team week 1 versus the last week of the season, that offensive line is going to look totally different in terms of I just think their potential is through the roof. So I'm excited about that. On the outside, we have 2 or 3 returning receivers. We kind of rotated those guys last year in Cade Fontana, Trey Sharp, Nolan Yannick, and then at tight end his back is Nolan Tanner. So I'm excited. There's a couple more young ones that have competed like crazy and are showing varsity flashes, but that's what the scrimmages are for, is really kind of stand out. Are you a varsity player yet or not?
Yeah, Coach. And on that subject of those scrimmages, maybe it's just that we're seeing more of them with the advent of social media, but it seems like a lot more schools are coming together, and those scrimmages in the summer are very important, are becoming more important to teams as they're gearing up for week 1. Not only scrimmages, but you're seeing more teams getting together for 7-on-7s. Have those become a really important a piece of the off season and then the summer training as you guys roll into the season?
I think I'm maybe an oddball. I despise 7-on-7. As soon as we can learn how to do inside run without pads on, we are doing inside run in the summer. We are doing perimeter screen drill. I was a linebacker. I coached defense for a long time. I like the competitive spirit of some of those, but I think it's a lot. It's a lot of this. It's not a lot of you know what I'm talking, getting after it.
Yeah, not a lot of substance.
No, I like grinding it out in the morning in the weight room. I love that. I'm not a morning person at all. You got to force yourself to get up and get out there with your buddies to work out. And then when we practice, do our mini camps, we try to be as physical as possible from Jump Street. We teach physical. We want to be physical. So we went to, I think, 1 7-on-7 and we left, and I'm like, oh man, we created some bad habits. But I do believe getting together and competing, we put so much emphasis on the days that they give us, the state gives us in the summer. So when we get to our doubles, now we run 1.5 hour practice, break for dinner, watch film, 1.5 hour practice. We are practicing with tempo. We are getting after it as many reps as possible. We're competing one-on-ones. If we do 7-on-7, it's against ourselves, best on best. Let's try to get after. But I like the scrimmages. Like, we scrimmaged Chardon on Saturday. Chardon is a no nonsense, come smack you in the face type of. It's what you see in the playoffs. It's very aggressive, physical football. And then Thursday we're going to go down to Lake, or we're hosting Uniontown Lake. In Federal League football, you guys all know it's physical brand of football. So I'm not promoting any 7-on-7s. I love it when other teams go and do that stuff, but if we could, we'd run the ball every play.
Coach, thank you again for taking the time and joining us.
Yeah.
Having a guy like Tommy Ricard, who is a third-year offensive starter and just committed to Virginia Tech, what has it been like for him, like coaching some of the younger offensive line and even some of the younger guys that are coming up this year?
Yeah, so he probably could have started as a freshman, but we had a really, really senior-laden 2020 offensive line. So he was the sixth man in, and he just absorbed all of that leadership. And coming in his sophomore year, he was kind of thrown to the wolves, like, you are the veteran on this, like, offensive line, and you're a sophomore. And so he had to learn real quick how to, like, get his voice heard. He's a tremendous leader now, where, just like you're saying, I mean, he truly is coaching the young guys. The locker room set up where it's like old guy, young guy, old guy, young guy. And that offensive line is together, and he's talking with those guys every day. Like, in film, he's picking them up. I mean, it's so valuable to have. And we talk to our guys about, like, what you're doing now, you're teaching the next group and teaching the next group, and it just reverberates. And that, I think that's credit to the guys that came before him, credit to him, because it's not always easy to be that guy and sacrifice and know that you know what's going on, but you're going to try to help this guy learn and, eventually take over what you're doing now. So it's incredibly valuable.
Coach, we talked a little bit about the offense. What about defense? Your defense, I thought, did a great job and was sideline to sideline, making some big plays. Kept you guys in the game when maybe the offense would sputter a little bit. Like you said, a 14-13 game against Solon. I mean, your defense is huge to keep it at that. Talk a little bit about some of the players to look out for on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, so our defense last year was phenomenal. They did everything we asked of them. And our defensive coordinator, Jake Brandy, does just an awesome job of mixing things up. But he has got them in such an aggressive attacking mentality. It's fun to watch. It's hard to practice against, especially early on when you're teaching something and you're getting you're getting two back, stack backers, cross blitzing on the play side. Our linemen are like, what is going on? So, but that's fun. We got linebackers, Tegan O'Gwyn, Noah Broski, and outside linebackers, Nick and Amarato. Those three guys all had some playing time last year, were huge on special teams for us. At corners, we got both starting corners back in Trey Sharp and Ian Robb. And then we have safeties. We got Nolan Yannick. He missed a lot of last year. He was our starter. He broke his collarbone week 3 at Harding. And so he missed a lot of the season, but came back and punted for us. But he's going to have a fantastic year at safety. And the other safety is Fritz Troutman. He's going to be a senior. He's just like come leaps and bounds from last year to this year. Like, the growth is incredible. So, and then most importantly on our defensive line, Colin Boffman was the anchor, one of the anchors last year, along with two guys we graduated in, Lucas Afredo and Henry Casper. It's not easy to replace 2 All-Ohio DNs, and we're going to try to, do our best. I think Nolan Tanner is going to step in. Jake Clapper is going to play both sides of the ball a little bit, and then Tommy Ricard is also going to play a little bit inside. But we have a bunch of those guys, and that's what we're doing this scrimmage, man. We're figuring out who can play, who can ball, who can't.
There you go.
Or at least can't yet.
Now, you said Troutman. How does he spell his last name? A-U-T? O-U-T?
No, A-U-T.
Yeah, okay. I wonder if we're related.
Any related, Rob?
I don't know. This is the first there are Troutman spread out, but that's interesting. When I heard that, I'm like, wait a second.
I think he's got M-A-N-N.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Plus he's actually probably he's probably pretty good at football, so there's no relation.
Right. Yeah.
Wait, do you guys?
That's a low blow. That's a low blow.
Yeah. You said somebody played at Mount?
No, I played at Mount Union.
Yeah, did our head principal was a Mount guy, Mike Miller.
Mike Miller. That sounds familiar. I graduated in 06, so it wouldn't surprise me if I know that gentleman.
Yeah, and then there's another one I know that's in town. Jim Eisman was a defensive tackle, All-American. There's a lot of you guys everywhere.
I know. That's what I was just going to say. They're everywhere. Every time we talk to a coach, they're like, yeah, I went to Mount in 1989. Oh, wait, I went in 2005. It's like they're everywhere.
We proliferate all over the high school football scene, for sure. We're talking with Hudson head coach Jeff Gough. Let's get to it this season, Coach. You obviously have a very tough opponent in the Highland Hornets, the defending American Division champion for the Suburban League. They were replacing Solon. You also have Hoover and Cleveland Heights at your non-conference so far, which replaces Euclid, Morton Harding, and Brunswick up to this point. I know all your focus right now is on Highland. Let's talk about the non-conference schedule just in general as you're looking to fill that out. If I'm not mistaken, at least per Joe Idle, you don't have a Week 10 opponent according to that, but maybe you can shed some light on that if you do have one, then maybe I just wasn't able to find it.
Yeah, so I'll start with the Week 10. Yeah, we don't have a Week 10 yet. We have asked just about everybody. It's a hard week to fill. And out of state, we've looked everywhere. And it's I feel bad for our kids because every kid deserves 10-year season. But if we learned anything from COVID, we'll take all 9 games we have, and we're going to love every single one of them. But yeah, Solon was supposed to come into the Suburban League this year. And so they were our Week 1. And when they said they were coming in, they kind of bumped to Week 10. That was our floating open date in the conference. And so we were able to pick up Highland Week 1. And then when they were, all that stuff happened with them having to stay in the GCC or whatever the league is. I think it's the GCC. We were left kind of without a Week 10, and everybody else is all kind of full up. But it is flattering seeing some of the teams that said that inquired early on, like teams from Texas and California and Baltimore. But yeah, so we only got 9. Goal is to go 9-0. Highland is an outstanding program. Coach Gibbons, he knows, he's just an amazing coach. And the proof is in the pudding, watching them over the last several years. We played them back in 2020. Tough, hard-nosed. It's going to be a battle. Just an amazing program. And they're at the point, they've got a great culture. We've seen their kids in like middle school programs and whatnot. They're just going to reload. We know it. So we know that's going to be a battle focused on them. And then after that, Hoover, I know they have an outstanding dual threat quarterback, one of the better quarterbacks in the state. So, and then anytime you go down and play a Federal League team, it is, you better bring your lunch pail. It's going to be a tough game. And then we picked up Cleveland Heights. I know they don't have the quarterback from last year, Darion Fair, who was just outstanding, but they got guys everywhere. So, that's going to be a very, very tough one. We're hoping that kind of tough non-conference sets us up, prepares us for the Suburban League, because that's our ultimate goal.
Yeah, I mean, you look at just your non-conference, and I was looking at that, and then you go right into, I think right after that you have Stowe right away. Mm-hmm. And you talk a little bit about your the National Division in the Suburban League. It is a meat grinder. I say it every single week. And to have the success that your programs had in that particular meat grinder year after year, what's some of the things you guys focus on, year after year, especially in this part of the season where, like you said, you're starting at a certain point, you want to finish at a certain point. What's the mentality week in, week out for you and your coaching staff?
We have to get 1% better every day. That's what we're chasing, that tiny little bit, because we know, like we've seen it. Our kids know it. Like, it is a tough conference with a lot of great coaching. So it comes down to details. And like I said before, you got it. We want to be the most physical team on our schedule. That's what we strive to be. Every single play is just trying to get after it and go as hard as you can until you can't, then we'll get the next guy in. So you go down the list, Nordonia, Coach Fox, he's been a state championship game when he had Denzel Ward in the gang. That doesn't happen by accident. Coach Todd, I think they had 3 10-0 seasons. Like, it was just unbelievable, like they were able to accomplish. And, it's a phenomenal football program over there at Wadsworth. Stowe, I know, had a down year last year, but Coach Potter was really trying to implement his culture. And I've coached against Coach Potter when he was with Coach Norrie and Stowe, and they were making their Final Four run. And then over at Brecksville when he had Joey Labas, and those were some pretty good teams right there. And then Coach Chuli, I think, is the most tenured in our part of the division, and has had a number of really, really great years. And then Coach Salter, so he was new last year with Twinsburg, but did some good things. Got a consistent defense, and they put up some numbers, and so it's. You look up and down the league. In Coach Black, he's back. He was there. I was coaching against him when I had the Tupa brothers, and they had some really, really nice teams. And now, they've got probably a quarterback with one of the best arms in the conference this year.
Man, we should just have you go over the Suburban League. You just went down.
I know, you do a better job. You do a better job than I do.
That was beautifully done.
But he's going to play those guys.
You have to mention all of them, because if you leave one out, then you're going to get in trouble. That game is going to be
bad. Hey, Coach, I was curious. We're in the dog days now in August, getting ready for week 1. For you, what's it like, the day in the life of Coach Gough, Hudson? What's your schedule like now during the day?
So, good question. It is chaos typically. So I have 4 daughters.
I have 3 myself. So
nice. Yeah, 7, 5, 3.5, and 1.5. So it is constant chaos, and just making it out the door to go to work is good. But and my wife works also, so it's always, and that comes first. That's why I do everything, is absolutely love my family. I'll coach as long as my wife lets me. And she's been with me 16 out of the 17 years coaching here at Hudson. But I work in the tech department at the school. And I work all summer. So I'm out. We do our early morning workouts in the summer. We're taking the week off we're in after school lifting this week. But yeah, I go to work, as do many of our staff, because a lot of us are private sector or like not a traditional teaching job. And then we come in. I think we were in today at 4 because we're trying to mimic the after school schedule. We had our doubles week last week, so that was 4:30 to 9:30 at night, it's just a lot, But that's what it is. And that's what we tell the kids. Like, it is a grind. Like, it is gonna suck at times. And you got to embrace that. And that's the only way, that's the only way I know how to produce that mentally tough physical football team, is you got to put in the work. So yeah, man, we're watching today. We got a lift, watched 40 minutes of film from our Saturday scrimmage. And then we went out and we competed, got after it a little bit. Defense got us today. They were hooting and hollering, and that we got on them pretty good in film, just because the effort, the physicality wasn't what we wanted it to be. So yeah, that's it. Then I'm going to head home after this, and I got to, help get my daughters to bed, and maybe eat something, and do it all over again.
Maybe eat something if you have enough time in that schedule. Hey, it looks like you got enough sleep though. With 4 kids, it looks like you're well rested there.
Coming off a weekend, I'm good on Monday. It's a little dicey.
Talk to him on Thursday.
Yeah.
I'm sure once game week starts, the adrenaline's going to start ramping up on as the week goes instead of kind of waning down right now. With it not being with that week season. So, with that, Coach, we can't thank you enough for taking the time to join us. We're really looking forward to seeing how it matches up. We did have a chance to talk to Coach Gibbons earlier in our previews. They're very excited to play a team of your caliber as well. So there's an abundance of respect that goes both ways. And we can't wait to see how this game ends up along with the rest of your season. Hopefully if you guys are able to get a week 10, good luck on that. Hopefully that works out. But to your point, I mean, Solon comes in next year. It's got to be nice to know you have at least 7 games spoken for, and it's just the first 3 you got to deal with. Coach, thank you so much. Good luck, and hopefully we'll catch up with you and/or some of your players over the course of the year.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks, Coach. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach.
That is Hudson head coach Jeff Gough joining us right after practice here for the Hudson Explorers. Hudson opens up their season at Medina Highland, the Suburban. We have the clash of the Suburban League champions to kick off the season. It's going to be a great game. Sean, as the Suburban League guru, I think we asked your thoughts about this when we talked to Coach Gibbons, but after having talked to Coach Gough and a few weeks have gone by, I mean, just very preliminary thoughts from you.
Well, yeah, I actually was not on the
right.
show with Coach Gibbons, so I didn't get a chance to really weigh in on this too much. And you look at these two programs, and they're both kind of at the apex or ascending where they should be at the same time, which is great. And I think you almost hate that this is a week 1 because any coach will tell you, you want to be playing your best football, obviously week 1, but working through the season. I think this is going to be probably one of the better games of week 1. I really do. I have a lot of confidence that both these squads are going to put out really good efforts. Again, they're replacing a little bit on both sides there. I think, you have to kind of watch that. As Coach Gough mentioned, he's got a couple of young guys that he's going to be, seeing if they're ready for prime time. And, we all know I've been on practices where kids were awesome, but when those varsity football lights shine, sometimes it gets a little scary. But, that both programs, and I watched Coach Gibbons' interview, and obviously we just had Coach Gough on. You listen to both of them, they're preaching the right things. They want to get better. They're not a finished product. Neither one of those, any coach will tell you, they're not a finished product right now. And I think it's going to be interesting to see how that game plays out, but also see, track those two programs, their trajectory throughout the year. Obviously, injuries are going to play a role in everybody, but it's going to be interesting to watch them and watch that game. I think that's going to be one of the fun week 1 games. And it's nice because it's that cross-division kind of pseudo. We don't get a championship in the Suburban League, but this is kind of maybe the 2023 championship. Don't want to say that. But it'll be fun to watch, definitely, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, Hudson has been a traditional power. They've been very successful over the years in the playoffs, and Coach Gough has really done a good job of keeping the momentum going from Hudson's success in the late 2000s and the early 2010s. And the success they've had is unmistakable, and it's been I want to say it's been a revolving door, but there's been a lot of good competition in the national division. Stowe, Wadsworth, Hudson, Nordonia, they've all grabbed some sort of a share of the championship over the years, and that's Brecksville, Broadview Heights, North Royalton. These are
Twinsburg's on the come.
Twinsburg, exactly. And with a team like Solon coming in next year, that just takes this division to a completely new level, in my opinion, given the pedigree that Solon has.
Yeah.
Definitely excited. Yeah. Definitely excited to talk about the Suburban League. Again, we cover the Suburban League, the Southwestern Conference, the Greater Cleveland Conference, and the Great Lakes Conference. And I think we're waiting on Coach Wells here from Rocky River to join us here. I will go over his stats here a little bit. He will be entering his 9th season as the head coach of Rocky River. He is 59-23 overall at Rocky River. He was previously the head coach of Brush for 3 seasons as well. He's got an overall record of 69-48, so he's had success anywhere he goes. He has had success. Last year they had a little bit of a down year, which we'll briefly touch on. They did have a winning record in the Great Lakes Conference West Division. They went 3-2 in the West Division. They made the playoffs. They were the number 15 seed in Division III, Region 10, and lost a tough one to Tiffin Columbian as the number 2 seed. It's definitely not that close of a drive to go to Tiffin from Rocky River, but nonetheless, it's a playoff trip, and that's certainly something that the team can be proud of. Some of the past successes that Rocky River has had over the last few years. 2 years ago in 2021, they did beat Toledo Rogers and Buckeye before they lost to West Holmes. And in fact, 2 years ago, they were the Great Lakes Conference West Division champions and overall conference champions. And even in 2018, they were the number 8 seed in their region. They were the last team to qualify in Division III, Region 10. They went to Clyde and defeated Clyde. And then, Coach Wells has a very good track record of getting some victories over some big time teams there. As we talk about Rocky River, you talk about the Beebe brothers, Tommy, Johnny, and Owen. They've all kind of come and gone at this point. And you don't really talk about Rocky River football without mentioning one of the Beebes, so it's going to be a little weird. Maybe there's another Beebe coming that I don't know about, but Coach Walls can certainly can talk to us about that. They will kick off their season against Painesville Harvey, and then they will host John Marshall as well before they travel to a very tough matchup against Sandusky Perkins, Division IV school, but they've given teams in this area fits, specifically Elyria Catholic. Those two teams have had some wars. And then they get into conference play. The Great Lakes Conference still has 2 divisions at the moment, but they no longer have the last game of the season set up to do division by division, mostly because there's an odd number of teams in the East Division with Parma folding. And, Fairview is on the way out, but they haven't gotten there. But they're still in the conference for one more year before they leave. And then the Great Lakes Conference will then shift away from a 10-team league and go down to an 8-team league. And Elyria Catholic and Holy Name will be moving on to different conferences as well. So it'll basically just leave all the public schools in one conference. Whereas EC and Holy Name, 2 of the teams that have had very, very good success over the years, will be moving on. Holy Name I believe they are the defending champions in the Great Lakes Conference. They are also the defending Division II Region 10 champions. They made the Final Four last year behind Javon Williams and Christian Sanchez. Coach Wondolowski did a tremendous job with Holy Name there. 2 wins over their rival in Padua, one of which at the beginning of the season and another which to win the regional championship. They had a heck of a run through there. Josh got to see them play a few times when they played in Brunswick in the playoffs. And, so Holy Name, obviously returning, hopefully being able to return to that level. You can't replace a Javon Williams that easily, though. Same thing goes for Elyria Catholic. Levi Ellis moves on after 4 years. Their whole Coach Fox moved from Elyria Catholic to Elyria. Now they have a lot of very, very good coaches coming in with professional and very good collegiate pedigrees. There's Coach Ferris is the head coach. Troy Smith is associated with the team as well. I think he's the OC. So Elyria Catholic's got a lot. They got a new coaching staff, but a lot of excitement comes with the coaching staff that comes there. They've graduated Brady Cook as well, amongst some other studs from Elyria Catholic. So they have a lot to come back from as well. In the East Division, Buckeye is always a tough team. Coach Dennison always has them going well. They've made the playoffs. They're a perennial playoff team right now as well. Kind of building up the success that Coach Benzoni had when he was there before he moved back to Brunswick. Buckeye has been an excellent team no matter what conference they've played in. Valley Forge and Normandy from the Parma schools. Normandy's had a little bit of a rough go over the last few years, but they had a little bit more success last year. Valley Forge, Coach Marcello DeAngelis, also a very tough team to prepare for. They like to run the ball about 50 times a game. and just depending on who they have from an athlete perspective, they had Kentrell Marks a few years back. They have, and he was able to carry them pretty well. Lakewood, not a bad team as well. We're looking forward to seeing what Lakewood could do on the East End.
Especially with the new head coach there, because they lost Coach Thome, went to Amherst. There's a lot of, I feel like, coach changes around the different divisions this year.
I think that, I mean, if you look at the Great Lakes Conference overall, the word that you could say for that conference between now and probably 2 years from now is just upheaval, just movement. It's unfortunate because I think that was one of the more healthier competitive conferences. Things being what they are, I think they're going to retain some good competition from who's left. I mean, Fairview's exiting, Holy Name and Elyria Catholic are out, and the remaining teams I think are all pretty well matched. I think that's going to be something that we can follow going forward. I'm very interested to see, obviously, Rocky River and how they kind of turn the corner from last year, but also see the kind of the ascension or the get better of a program like North Olmsted. I think that's been they've been very impressive to watch and kind of follow where they started last year. They kind of started off pretty rocky and had that success later on in the year, and if they can build on that.
Speaking of Rocky, see what I did there? Way to set that up, Sean. We are joined by
best in the game, baby.
That's right. We are joined by Rocky River head coach, former Mount Union player, national champion, prior to North Royalton. Some in college used to call him Cowboy. He is indeed Josh Wells. Coach Wells, how you doing today, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Good to see you again, sir.
You as well.
Coach, ninth season here at Rocky River. We usually go back just to briefly talk about the previous year to set up for what's going on this year. Compared to previous years, probably not the best season that you've wanted. I think there's some injuries that kind of played into that. But talk very briefly about last year and what it's setting up for you guys for 2023.
We learned, a lot of our guys that returned this year, learned a lot from last year. I think we went into the year with the expectation of, hey, we're just going to keep doing what we're doing. And it didn't go as planned like that. Kids thought they could just go in, show up, and, everything was going to go as planned, and it wasn't there. Week 1, 2, and 3, we were out of shape. We were, sort of out of our element a little bit from what we've been used to. And it taught some valuable lessons, not just to the players, but to us as a coaching staff. We sort of got stuck in a routine, I guess, is how I put it in our off-season meetings, because we didn't really adapt to our players, and that's, Larry Karras 101, right? Players formation plays, and we didn't do that, and taught us a valuable lesson each year to look what you have and do what your kids do well. And so not only did our players learn, from last year, but us as a coaching staff, we were always trying to grow, and we took a lot away from that.
So, Coach, talk about. Make sure I'm not on mute because I'm notorious for doing that at least twice a show. Coach, talk about how your camp's going so far. How are 2 days going? How are practices, scrimmages? How are all those things going for you thus far?
So far, so good. We're healthy. We're in shape. We just had a really good joint practice with John Hay on Friday. We did a 2-a-day with John Hay, not just a traditional scrimmage. So we had 4 good hours of work on Friday, and it was nice to see our kids competing again, and it was a lot of fun. But it goes so fast. It's hard to believe that we're less than 2 weeks away from week 1 already. So that's it's kind of crazy to us that we're knocking on the door week 1. But we have a lot of skill positions that return with a lot of experience, and we're going to rely heavy on that, and they've stepped up so far. and it's been a good camp so far. It's been a lot of fun and high energy, high effort practices.
Coach, thank you again for taking the time and joining us tonight. You guys bring back Julian Patty at quarterback, but what kind of a difference does it make to have some of the experienced guys like Julian and even some of the younger guys that played last year?
You know, Julian has been phenomenal, and when you can return a quarterback, I think most high school coaches will tell you, like, if you return a quarterback with experience that Julian had last year, you're ahead of the game a little bit. And he has taken the leadership role very seriously. He has organized, players, throwing session, player-only throwing sessions, and you can see the relationships and the timing and the trust that has been built because of what Julian's doing in the off season. He is a tremendous young man. He's a tremendous leader, and he's going to be a really good quarterback again for us this year. We have a lot of guys like that returning. Ryan Ricchetti at safety, wide receiver. Josh Mommers was a second-team all-district, all-conference free safety last year as a sophomore. He's back. It's exciting to see the growth from the guys who are returning, but also these, some of the kids that are getting the first, crack at this thing. We have offensive lineman. His name's Will Sweeney. He's a junior. He's a big boy. He moves well. He works hard. He's one to watch. I mean, he's 6'3", 305 right now. And, he can move some people, but, anytime, again, you have experience at key positions like quarterback, and our center's back. So that relationships, him, Julian and Connor have that relationship to, have the trust with the snaps going to be there and the nuances that they've developed with each other. So it's a good thing. It's exciting to have, core guys like these kids back.
Well, you talked about having the core group back. Talk about some of the younger guys that you've seen in camp that are making an impression on you, offense and defense.
So Oren Grieve is a junior wide receiver, and another one who put the time in the off season. He's gotten faster. He catches everything. We've adapted our offense. We've been a run heavy offense, since, I got here, and, we're more of a pass, first deal. I mean, again, with Julian, but we have the receivers with Ryan, with Julian. Campbell Kowski. He's a junior. He's a corner, and slot receiver. He makes plays in space that, surprise us every time he does it. But the nucleus of wide receivers that we have, Josh Mommers is getting some reps at wide receiver. He was our backup quarterback last year. There's a lot going on offense, and it's very high energy, and it's a lot of fun for them. But Nick DeSalvo is our running back. I think he's a sleeper. He's put his time in behind Tommy Beebe. He's put time in behind Johnny Beebe, and now it's Nick's time to shine. And he's running with that, and doing a good job. Defensively, our secondary is intact from last year with Ryan, with Josh, with Cam. Colin Slomka is one that starts. He got some time last year. So we have our four, secondary guys back. Linebackers. Ben Coonan's one, middle linebacker. He's a junior. He played a little bit last year early on, dealt with some injuries as the season rolled on. But, I'm looking forward to Thursday when we scrimmage Firelands to see them in live game action, because they've done some really good things in camp. So now it's nice to see, that translate to a game situation.
Coach, this is, I think, and I've asked this question a couple of times. This is I believe the second or maybe the third year. I'm not 100% sure of this accelerated off-season type situation where you're starting earlier. And you mentioned that. Is there anything that you've gained from year over year that you're kind of a little bit more comfortable with now? I know you mentioned off the top that it's gone so fast. You guys are 2 weeks out from week one, and school starting and everything's kind of starting earlier. Have you gotten used to that schedule, or is that still kind of something that maybe played into kind of what happened last year?
That could be part of it. I think we utilized our time better in the summer than we have in the past, understanding that, the acclimation days can start, in the middle of July instead of, trying to wait until, the traditional first, day of August camp. We did a lot early. We did some mini camps in May because we have a lot of kids that are multi-sport athletes that, I'm not going to make them make a choice and, put camps in May, and lacrosse is going on, or baseball and track, and we just that's not my belief. That's not how we operate. So we did what we could in May, and then when school was out, we did something the week after school was out. But then all we did was lift and condition for about a month straight. We didn't do anything on the field, and I think that paid dividends because kids could go out and play their summer baseball, summer lacrosse, AAU basketball, and there wasn't a distraction. Once they got back in July, it's all football, and I think we benefited from that approach. So I think we did learn a little bit last year, and it's always going to tweak because I feel like it's kind of a moving target. There's something new that comes out every year that we have to adjust to, but that's the nature of the beast right now, I guess. But I think we've done a pretty good job this year navigating the new protocols and new calendar.
Talking with Rocky River head coach Josh Wells. Coach, last year you played Midview and Firelands in the non-conference. You're continuing at least the relationship with Firelands with the scrimmages. You got Harvey, John Marshall, and Sandusky Perkins as your non-conference this year. I know a lot of your focus is going to be on Harvey. Talk about how the non-conference schedule kind of came together for you as you're prepared for your GLC schedule.
It's fun to have different opponents and change things up year to year. And we knew Harvey was kind of on the rise a little bit. They have their sophomore running back who's really good. He's got some Division I offers, and we want to challenge ourselves early on. And I don't want to set ourselves up to have a false sense of reality of who we are as a team by playing a push over here and push over there. But Harvey's going to be good. John Marshall has been on the rise. They made the playoffs for the first time last year with that expanded format, but he's doing a lot of good things over there. And Perkins is going to be a shootout. They're really good. That quarterback they have is really good. And we have to go to their place. So it's exciting, to play that level of competition, first 3 weeks. I think it prepares us, very well for the ECs, the North Olmsteds, because they got a lot back. And it's a fun non-conference. And we kept to the crossover. We still play Lakewood and Valley Forge from the other side. And, Coach Pullave's 2 new coaches over there. I mean, Valley Forge and Lakewood got new coaches, so we don't know exactly what we're going to see. But, the first 3, I think, set us up pretty well. You see a lot of talent, a lot of athletes, a lot of, different styles of football in the first 3 games. So it helps us, with the Great Lakes Conference schedule.
Did it help to have the expanded playoff where a lot of teams make it in to really get creative with your schedule and schedule some tougher teams that maybe you wouldn't have if it was more condensed, the top 6 or top 8 teams making it?
That's a great question. That's a really good question. I don't know that we took that far into account. I know we couldn't schedule Firelands because their conference shifted and they had to keep a rival week 2, and Midview, they had a new coach, and we sort of just decided to go our separate ways. I don't know that I would have played Perkins, regardless, but I think there's a lot of that scheduling changing going on because people are realizing you could still get in at 16, so you could play some better, competition in your non-conference games. But that's a really good question. I don't know that I ever really looked at it that way.
Well, I'm glad I can help you out maybe for next year.
Coach Wells, Rob's due one good question every season.
That's right.
I can't believe he blew it completely on before the season even starts. So he won't have anything for the remainder of the season.
Yep, possibly.
Coach, just to add on to that, the Great Lakes Conference is going to be going through some changes, already has it, and it's going to as we go further. Just talk about that. Is that a challenge for you? I know you're concentrating this year, week 1 and all that stuff, but as a head coach of a program in a conference like yours, those are some of the things that you have to keep in your mind, I would assume. So talk about the changing landscape of your conference and how, if it does affect you when you're planning for that season.
This, I don't think it'll affect us this year. Like you said, we're focused on 2023. The changes happen next year. It's one of those situations where a lot of it boiled down to was we had a couple private schools in our conference, and it really boiled down to the lower levels is why the push for the change. Not having middle school programs. We couldn't have a traditional middle school conference. We were constantly having to schedule different places. I enjoyed, playing Holy Name. We always had, really, really good games. EC, the same thing. The last 2 games against Lear Catholic have, come down to a field goal in the last minute. Those are the games you love to play in. But it was more like, big picture, why the changes came about. And, Fairview, the move they're making to, why is it slipping my mind? The CBC, that's a great move for them. They're a smaller school, and I think they'll do really well in that conference. Coach Rance is doing a great job over there, building that program, and that's only going to help him continue to grow with that switch. But, we're going to play, whoever, it's, our conferences, competitive week in and week out. Doesn't matter who you're playing. So, excited for the change. You'll get some of the old team like Buckeye. We haven't played them in a few years. So, we'll welcome with open arms and deal with it next year.
Coach, one of the things that really sticks out to me is that you and your team went to Clays Park for like a little swim in that. And, just kind of like a little team bonding experience. But how important was it for just to get away from like all the football intensity and to get like some of the team bonding for you and your team?
That last year we did that for the first time last year, as all the COVID restrictions and stuff, because we used to do things like that, and then COVID hit, we got away from it. So we started to, try to find new ideas and different ideas each year to have that, sort of end of the summer, wrap up camp, kick off the season. And, we've done picnics, we've done, cookouts, we've done where we run in the rec center pool. And this was just a creative idea. I mean, it's an hour bus ride, and it's, they're there, they're having fun. And, it's just a few hours just to get away and enjoy your teammates. So it's awesome. It was a great time this year, being beautiful weather, and, the kids loved it. Coaches loved going down there. So it was a lot of fun. I mean, it's an important way to, take your mind off football and, just enjoy being a kid.
Talking with Rocky River head coach Josh Wells. Coach, this is your 12th year coaching overall. 3 years of Brush before you come into Rocky River. A lot of things have changed over the last 5 years, let alone the last 10 years. What are some of the bigger lessons that you maybe have learned since you were first-time head coach in Brush in the early 2010s to kind of where you are now?
A lot of lessons learned, as a head coach, and a lot of what I've taken away is the people you have around you on your staff is very important. I love the fact that we haven't had a whole lot of turnover at Rocky River, and same thing at Brush. I tried to keep everybody together. When you have guys that you trust, you get along with, your families hang out outside of football activities. That's the biggest thing that I've learned is when you can have, that camaraderie, not just amongst your team, but among your coaching staff, it helps tremendously. And also realizing that I don't know everything, I was a head coach when I was 29 years old. I was still young, thought I knew everything, thought I knew it all. And, that's a hard reality check to, you don't know everything, you might think, and, that's why you have great assistants around there, surrounding you. So, bottom line is, having people around you trust, but again, never forget you're there for the kids, and, got to do what's best for them and put them in positions to succeed and, become the best versions of themselves, even beyond their time with you. So, we could sit here and talk all night about, situational lessons that I've learned and whatnot, but, it's football's a game, it's a kid's game. And, I'm fortunate to continue to be around it and do it with, a lot of guys that I respect and, enjoy being around. So, a lot has changed. Rules have changed. Again, the fact that we have spring football in Ohio is mind-boggling to me still. But, it's, again, you roll with the punches and adapt on the fly.
Hey, I have one more question for you. We were kind of on the outskirts, being where we grew up. I mean, in Brunswick and North Royalton. I mean, the parochials were close, but they weren't that close.
Yeah.
Rocky River, you're in a lot more closer proximity to the big boys, Ignatius,
Yeah.
Ed. Obviously those are the two biggest ones around here. How has it been for you in the community to build the youth program up and keep the kids in the Rocky River system?
Our youth program, when I got hired, there's, a man by the name of Wade Masad. He's my, kicking coach still today. He sat down with me when I got hired, and we revamped the youth program, and then we revamped it again, and then we revamped again to the point, where we've sort of modeled what we do after what Coach Elder at Avon's done. And we have the most kids playing football in Rocky River that we've ever had. I mean, our youth program has, we're almost close to doubling, over the past 5-6 years, the number of kids that are playing. It is important, to keep them with us, keep them in the 6th grade, to get to know them. They get to know the coaches, the youth camps, the youth nights. We have a punt, pass, and kick competition coming up Wednesday, just so they're around us, they're around the kids. So we have that relationship. So, there isn't that constant draw to go elsewhere. There's always going to be, a handful of kids, legacies, and that's it's just not a battle that you can win. But for the most part, we've been able to keep most of our guys in Rocky River and play for their city, play under the lights with their friends that they've grown up with, and there's no better feeling than that. But it's always going to be there. We just try to find different ways to spice up our program at the high school where kids want to do that, and each year we try to find something new to add or some new twists. So constantly adapting and figuring out what we need to do to be better, and what's going to draw kids to stay and play in our program.
Coach, we appreciate the time. Thanks for it's always good to talk to a former teammate. I've talked to Coach. We talked to Coach Gibbons. We talked to many other folks from the Mount Union tree. So it's always good to catch up with you guys. I certainly wish you success. We're looking forward to seeing what you guys do against Harvey in week 1. I cover your conference. I'm very interested in what you guys are going to be doing, and hopefully we can chat again, or we can get in touch with some of your players over the course of the year.
Yeah, anytime. I appreciate you guys do an awesome job, and I appreciate everything you guys do. And I'll come on whenever you want to talk. I enjoy this. So.
Well, Coach, before you go, I see your garage. I'm assuming that's your garage in the background. What's
it is.
Let's show something. Every guy loves their garage and want to show the guy something.
It's a mess right now.
But you got to have something in there that you're proud of.
It's a workshop here. Hold on a second.
Here you go.
We're doing some remodeling, and hold on. How do I flip my? There we go. So you can see my all my
Look
tools
at that.
out.
See?
Oh, nice.
There you go.
Every guy
Wait, is there
is
a TV
proud of their
in there?
garage.
There used to be a TV. That was when COVID, my kids would have friends over in the garage, so we put a TV. It's not there anymore. But no, I mean it's your it's not nothing special, but get a lot of stuff done out here.
Hey,
Listen,
there you go.
it shows that coaches are people too.
Now, Coach, did you ever run into the kicker at Mount Union during practice?
Did I ever run into the kicker?
Yeah,
I saw
Ed was the kicker.
I
mean, did you accidentally, trip and fall?
I never hit him. No.
I've been meaning to send Sirianni a note to apologize for decking him in kickoff, especially when he's making their run. I remember that specifically, and he was pissed about me being a stupid freshman and a kicker. It all made sense. I know
the
better.
things you remember, right?
Right.
That's what I wondered if anybody hit Ed, because I remember that story, man. You got to send him that one, because I bet you he would get a good laugh out of that.
Yeah, he's a little busy at the moment.
You act like he's an NFL coach or something. I mean,
he's doing all right for himself. Much like all of us from Monarch. Coach, good luck this year. Look forward to seeing how Harvest do. Thanks, man.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Thanks, Coach.
That is head coach of the Rocky River Pirates, Josh Hall's joining us from his garage. Jeffy hitting with the hard-hitting questions.
Hey, listen. we all, to a man, have something that we're proud of in our garage. Something. It could be something little. He had his work area. It was obviously very disorganized, but it means a lot of work's going on. And listen, he's got to do that kind of stuff. And he removed the TV because if he had it in there, he would be less productive. So it's all about productivity with him at the Wells household. I get it. I appreciate that.
Josh has 2 TVs in his garage.
Yeah,
and
nothing happens.
And a couch.
Rocky River will be opening the season against Painesville Harvey to start their year off with a following up against John Marshall, and then again a very tough non-conference game against Sandusky Perkins, their first away game of the year before they get into GLC play. So that's going to wrap it up for this week. As far as who we talked to, we did talk to Hudson head coach Jeff Gough earlier in the broadcast. Coach Walls just now. Make sure you check out our YouTube channel to check out our previous interviews. I think someone else might have something to say about joining our YouTube channel if he so desires.
That's right.
Well, listen, I love high school football like we all do. I love the fact that Josh turned our little teeny tiny show into a Rocky River style Cribs episode. I love the fact that Rob went ahead and decided to just
have one of the best questions of the year.
Yeah, and it's preseason, so way to save it for air, Rob.
Hey, I'm getting ready for the regular season, man. It starts right now, and it started all year. You know,
it starts in less than 2 weeks, and if you're looking for the very best high school football coverage in Northeast Ohio, heck, the state of Ohio, heck, in the Great Lakes region, there's only one thing you got to do. You got to log on to YouTube. You got to find us, SOT Podcast, Sports on Tap. Search us. We're there. Look for my big head. Look for Rob's big head. Look for Josh's big head. Look for all of our big heads.
Wait, doesn't Noah has a big head?
Noah's got a big head. Ed's got a big head. We all got big heads. Giant heads. We thought about renaming the podcast.
Oh, there it is. Wow.
Coverage of high school football you will ever get. Not to mention, guys, we're talking football right now, but when it gets a little cold in Ohio, when it gets around the time when the snow is falling, guess what we cover? We are the exclusive partner for the Greater Cleveland High School Hockey League. That's 40-some-odd teams. That's hockey every day, baby. Where else are you getting that? Nowhere else. So I suggest to you, wander over there. Subscribe right here. Hit the buttons because you won't want to miss a thing that we got coming this year. It's going to be awesome. Guys, I'm excited.
Yep, I am too. I mean, now I'm excited. Before I wasn't as excited until you said that.
Well, that was a promo that a WWE wrestler would be proud of. He'll have a little work to do, but it'll happen.
Preseason for everybody right now, folks.
That's right.
And it's going to be week 1. Sean's going to be on the sideline, so he's going to be out of the bathtub or whatever he sounds like he's in right now.
Dear.
Says the guy who called in from the beach.
Still, that was awesome.
Josh might be on the beach right now.
I think it sounded better on the beach. To be fair.
Yeah. Well, and then I just realized I lost connection. I just lost connection during the interview, and I had to reconnect, and it didn't connect to the podcast microphone that I purchased for the issue. So
got it too.
Well,
listen, guys, it's not an exact science
right there. Preseason.
And I'd prefer, Rob, if you could work on this for future shows. I think all of our nicknames should be at the bottom when it says our name, and then like in parentheses.
There's not enough space.
Now I got to go remake the graphics again.
Yeah, dude. I mean, you're the technical director. Get your assistant to do it. Josh, get on it.
Whoa.
Oh, the hype man.
You're back from vacation. You're ready to roll.
That's all right. Yeah.
You throw the word professor in someone's name, and they think they run everything now.
He's got a PhD. You play hate and degree. That's it.
That's
what it is, baby. What it is, baby.
Do kids today even know that reference? I don't know.
No.
I'm glad that I'm glad that the Stuart Scott is still alive, and most of us who grew up at that time. I'm not sure. We don't have to explain that to you off camera, Noah, but nonetheless, let's go. Let's set up our sponsors here one more time. We are sponsored by Ray Felton State Farm Insurance, located in beautiful Hudson, Ohio. Ray provides auto, home, life, and business insurance and risk management. Call Ray at 234-284-5996 for more information, and check out his website, rayfelton.com, to create a personalized quote. RRT Productions delivers affordable, high-quality video services to all customers and clients. Check them out at rrt-productions.com for more information. GV Art and Design. Again, you may have seen their new shirt, Down Goes Anderson, with a picture of Jose Ramirez standing just like Muhammad Ali was after he had knocked out, I think Sonny Liston or some other fool. That other fool was Tim Anderson from the White Sox. But if you want that shirt for 10% off, use the promo code ONTAP10 at checkout to get 10% off of your order. And last and certainly not least, and we are very excited to have them on board, Hand Built Leather, www.handbuiltleather.com. Check them out for more information. They make all sorts of good stuff. The website can do a much better job at this point of explaining it than I can, but we will be certainly talking more about them as our season rolls on.
Hey, real quick before we move on, speaking of Ray Felton State Farm, I will have to say I am a customer, and today I got a birthday card from Ray Felton State Farm saying wishing me a happy birthday, which is going to be in a couple days. No, a couple days. Right. So that's what kind of service you get. You get it early. So just a little plug for Ray Felton State Farm. Thanks for the birthday card. Appreciate it, my friend.
Well, and all our sponsors are great. Obviously, Ray's been supporting us for a long time, along with all the other sponsors. Hand and Built Leather Goods, their website's incredible, and he hand makes everything. Whether it's bags, there's wallets, there's collars, I'm sure if there's a lot of women out there, the bags and the clutches and stuff like that are pretty impressive.
Impressed that you know what a clutch is, Rob.
Hey, I do.
Impressed.
Let's put it this way. I see a lot of things that go through this door here, and a lot of bags and purses are going through, which come and go, but his lasts a long time. So check that out. But a lot of great sponsors, like I said, that support us and give us the support we need to keep expanding and continuing to grow, and we couldn't do it without them. So please support the local sponsors here.
You are, and so as we wrap this up, you're watching this live on our YouTube channel, Sports on Tap. Again, hit the subscribe button, get those notifications on our future broadcasts. Follow us on Twitter /X at SOT Podcast, on Facebook at Sports on Tap, and on Threads at SOT_podcast. And most importantly, make sure you check out our website, sportsontappodcast.com. That's where you get all of our information, all of our scores for the football season will be up on that website. We'll have polls. We'll have that will be one of the main hubs of our information, in addition to our Twitter /X handle and our information on Facebook. Next week is the preparation. It's the first week of the regular season. We will. You guys will find out where we will be for week one.
Yep.
For that specific week, and then every week thereafter, we will always tease where we're going to be for week 2, for week 3, and the like. You will get the finest coverage that we could possibly provide for the Great Lakes Conference, the Greater Cleveland Conference, the Suburban League, and the Southwest Conference. For Technical Director Rob Troutman, EVP of Social Media Content Josh Jeffy, Dr. Hoops himself Noah Jacobson, and the Professor of Hype Sean Duffy. I am just your normal co-host, Dick. You're watching Sports on Tap, and we will see you on the other side.